And now your man,
Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 500th edition of TSR Live, your daily dose of red pill truth, wisdom, and awareness. It is hard to believe that I have done 500 of these. It is hard to believe. I don't take this for granted by any stretch of the imagination. Listen, guys, even though I've worked extremely hard for many, many years to get to this point, let's get one thing straight. I do not make it to episode 500 without you guys, and that's a fact. Guys like Freelance Ronan, who's been with me literally since the beginning when I was on SoundCloud. Guys like Bob in Sacramento, who's donated over $1,800 to the show, again, starting from back in May of 2016. Guys like Miami J and Pine Frank, who have become good personal friends of mine. All of those guys and you guys have been instrumental in my success. So from the bottom of my heart, I sincerely thank you guys for making it possible for me to do what 99.9% of people are unable to do, and that is to make a very good living doing what I love to do. I don't take this for granted, guys. I consider myself to be very fortunate to be where I am today, and I hope to do this for a long time to come. But if for whatever reason that doesn't happen, I will never, ever forget this unbelievable 2.5, 3-year run that I've been on that has been nothing short of a magic carpet ride, and I owe every bit of that to you guys. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough for what you guys have done for me, and I will continue to do my absolute best to make sure I return the favor, hopefully over the next 500 episodes. So here's to another 500 episodes. Okay, let's get right to it. So a big thanks goes out to Matt W. for submitting this video, because this is a topic that is talked about constantly among women, but is rarely discussed by men. And that topic is what women like to characterize, the behaviors that women like to characterize as controlling, possessive, jealous, insecure, abusive, toxic, etc. Now, Matt submitted this video a while back. Let me go ahead and bring it up here. He submitted this video a while back. Pardon me. But I've waited until now. I've waited until episode 500 to break it down, because there is so much red pill truth in this video that I'm going to break this into a 3-part series. I wanted to do something cool for episode 500, and I can't think of anything better than a multi-part episode. Now, the reason this group of terms that I mentioned earlier, jealous, insecure, toxic, etc., the reason that group of terms doesn't really get as much airtime as it should is because most men, red pill aware or otherwise, don't really know how to properly address it. Anytime a man is accused of being controlling or possessive or any of those other trump card terms that women like to use when the men try to hold them accountable, men feel like they've been checkmated. Well, I don't want to be that guy, he says to himself. I don't want to be that guy who's the jealous, insecure boyfriend who projects his insecurities onto my girlfriend or wife by being controlling or possessive. Okay? Those terms are what women use. Those terms that women use are what they believe is the trump card, okay? Anytime their boyfriends or husbands voice concerns about behaviors that are conducive to infidelity, they use these terms. Jealous, insecure, toxic. Now, a lot of guys ask me, Donovan, how can I control my girlfriend's behavior but not come off as controlling or possessive or insecure? And my answer to that is, number one, you cannot control a woman's behavior, nor should you want to. One of the great things about being in a relationship is knowing that a woman is with you because she wants to be. Knowing that when she does things for you, whatever they may be, you're not putting a gun to her head, and she's doing it because she loves you and she wants to be with you. She wants to stay with you. No, this doesn't mean that they do every single thing with a smile. They're not whistling and, singing lullabies and doing cartwheels just happy that they can serve their men. No, sometimes your woman isn't going to like you. Sometimes she's not going to like to do certain things. Sometimes she's not going to want to put up with certain things. But the fact that she does them anyway, that's when you know when a woman truly loves you. Number two, being controlling and possessive is a good thing if you are a 5%er. If you're a man who has a shit together, you're in good shape, you have goals, you're driven, you're disciplined, you live a great life, then women love it when you are possessive of them. Women love being owned by high-value men. They always have, and they always will. Being controlling is definitely a good thing. No, not because you control or attempt to control your woman. No, because you control your environment. Women women do not want to have to do and plan everything. They want to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Women don't love men who control them. They love men who are in control. Yes, there will be times when you need to dictate to your woman what she needs to do in any given situation, but that's not being controlling. That's being a man. And if your woman trusts your judgment, she will make the proper adjustments according to what you tell her. Number 3, if you want to avoid coming off as jealous or insecure, you need to be territorial. The difference between being insecure and being territorial is that insecurity is reactive and being territorial is proactive. Insecurity is a reaction after you see or hear something you don't like your girl doing or saying. Territorialism is not allowing your woman to put herself in that situation in the first place. If you do not want to look insecure about your girl getting hit on at the club, then number 1, don't take your girl to the club. And number 2, don't get into relationships with girls that go to the club. Oh my God, Donovan, that's so controlling and possessive, you insecure loser. On the contrary, I didn't give her an ultimatum. I didn't tell her, if you go to the club, we're done. I simply let her know that I do not date women who go to the club. If she chooses to go to the club, she chooses to forfeit my commitment. It's her choice and hers alone. And this is the case with any and all requirements any man has of his woman in a relationship. So my answer to that question is along those lines. And that brings me to the video that Matt W. submitted, which is entitled "Red Flags, Your Boyfriend is Trying to Control You," all caps, with an exclamation point at the end, and it was done by a girl who calls herself Pageantine. She mainly does videos on makeup tips, but every once in a while she'll drop a video about dating and relationships, and as one can expect, at least amongst an audience like this, she proved why most women these days aren't really worth much today outside of sex. Again, you guys, listen, I'm never going to endorse or advise men to just abandon the pursuit of sexual relationships of varying degrees with women. But I'm a lot more understanding of why a lot of men have just thrown their hands up and decided it's not worth the trouble. The cheating, the branch swinging, paternity fraud, divorce rape, baby trapping, all of these things and a lot more, all of these risks are very real and present dangers for men who decide to pursue women sexually, and trying to mitigate your risk, that's a lot of work. So while I don't condone on just giving up, I don't condemn it either. Anyway, this is going to be a 3-part episode because this girl gives way too much red pill truth. So let's go ahead and break this down, because this girl represents the embodiment of a culture that cultivates the worst female characteristics. Here we go.
Today I wanted to talk about a certain topic that I feel like goes on a lot nowadays, and not a lot of people talk about it or really address it or tell you like the warning signs you should look out for. I know so many girls personally that I know that get into relationships, and even I've been at fault for this, like getting in relationships with guys that are just possessive and like emotionally abusive.
Okay, again, possessive is only a bad thing when she doesn't like you that much, when she doesn't respect you. Possessive is only a bad thing when she doesn't want to be with you anymore. Girls will brag to their girlfriends about their new boyfriend who's got himself together, he's goal-oriented, he's disciplined, and he's driven. They'll say things like, "OMG, he told me the other day you're not going to the beach without me," and I was like, "Oh, he really likes me. Like, he doesn't want anybody to have me but him. He wants me all to himself." But if they don't really like their new boyfriend, who, by the way, they just settled for because the guy she really like, okay, got with another girl, they'll say, "That asshole told me I can't go to the beach without him. Can you believe him? He's so possessive." Your actions and behaviors are seen differently when the girl you're with really likes you. Never forget that. Emotional abuse, by the way, she said emotional abuse. That is womanese for he doesn't let me get away with bad behavior. He verbalizes his disapproval and tells me to correct said behavior. Understand this, gentlemen, and I need you to pay attention here. Women define a relationship as unhealthy or toxic when cheating is difficult. But when it is easy to cheat, that relationship is characterized as healthy. Let me repeat that. When a woman is in a relationship where it is hard to cheat, she says it is unhealthy. When it is easy to cheat, she calls it healthy. Today's women want all the freedom and lack of accountability that comes with being single, while also getting the commitment, the social status, and the security that comes with being in a relationship. They want it both ways. Anytime a man doesn't allow her to have it both ways, she calls him toxic. She calls him abusive. She calls him oppressive. Gentlemen, these labels are shaming tactics designed to marginalize men who do not allow women to put themselves in situations that are conducive to cheating. Oh, did you hear about what Darlene's husband said to her? He said that he told her she can't come with us for our weekend Vegas trip. Oh my God, he's just so oppressive. No, he's protecting his family by not allowing his wife to spend a weekend in Sin City, getting raw dogged by God knows who, then 9 months later giving birth to a kid that looks nothing like him, and having to support that kid financially for the better part of 2 decades while living with the pain and anguish that comes with living with a female who betrayed him in the worst way. If a girl you're dating calls her ex-boyfriend possessive or emotionally abusive, she's telling you she wanted the freedom of the single life with the safety net of a relationship, and he wasn't having it. So here's lesson number 1, guys. If a woman you are seeing wants to have a relationship with you, let her know that you have never dated a woman who travels alone or with her friends to party cities like Vegas or anywhere else. Let her know that you've never dated her, or you can let her know, listen, I don't date women who travel alone by herself or with friends to party cities, Ibiza, Europe, all that stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. If this is something she's not going to give up, no problem. Listen, no skin off your back, man. Let her know that your arrangement will remain as is, which is sexual without commitment, and leave it at that.
If you can spot the warning signs and the red flags, I think it can save a lot of time and a lot of heartbreak further down the road. So I wanted to go over a couple things that I've noticed just throughout my life of dating guys, and just some red flags to look out for that maybe even in your current relationship you could take a step back and be like, is he possessive? Is he controlling? I know a lot of girls that are with controlling, possessive boyfriends that don't let them do anything.
Oh, that's funny. If these guys were so terrible and toxic, then why are these girls still with these guys? Oh, I know. Their boyfriends are the kinds of men girls like being possessed by. Their boyfriends and husbands are the kinds of men worth giving up the party life for. Ladies, if you're watching, watch out for girls like the ones on your screen. When they see that you're with a man who clearly understands a woman's true nature and does not allow society to shame him for keeping her in line by doing what's necessary to keep to keep her from self-destructing, they're going to try to sabotage a relationship by planting the seeds of doubt about his controlling behavior. They'll say things like, you let him check your phone? Oh, he's toxic. They'll say things like, they'll say things like, you tell him where you are and what you're doing, you check in, he's controlling. I know you like him and all, but you're in an abusive relationship. I'm here for you if you ever need to talk. This chick has friends who are dating guys she wants to date, right? They're with guys that she wants to be with because of their unapologetic masculinity. But instead of asking her friends, hey, how can I get a guy like that? How can I lock down a guy like you have? Nope. She's saying, I know girls who are with toxic, abusive guys. Understand this, ladies. The more trash your friends talk about your boyfriend, the more they want your boyfriend. They wish they had a guy who keeps them in line, demands their best, and keeps her relaxed by being in control, so they tell you he's bad for you. You've been warned. Later today, I'll be joined by Rollo Tomasi to discuss why women say they don't need a man and talk about how happy they are without relationships, but then complain that they're perpetually single. That goes down at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, exclusively on Patreon. If you want access to that stream and other exclusive content, go to patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. If you want to support the show and be more productive than you've ever been, Gorilla Mind Rush is what you need. Gorilla Mind Rush gives you laser focus and clean, non-jittery energy for hours without the crash. So go to donovansharpe.com/Gorilla Mind Rush. Again, that's donovansharpe.com/Gorilla Mind Rush. I will put the link in the chat as well as the description. All right, let's continue.
Start with number one, not wanting you to go out with your friends or hang out with your friends or do anything, especially being 21. You know, you are faced with a lot of the times your girlfriend's wanting to go to the club.
And here we go already. The first example she uses is going to the club. No, not getting together for coffee, not going out for lunch. No, it's straight to the club. She knows what happens at the club, and so do men. So if she really wants to be in a relationship, then why does she get all dolled up to go to a place late at night with hordes of men around? Why does she want to get her hair done and her nails done, slather on makeup and lipstick, wear skin-tight clothing, and heels that are mostly seen on stages, and then go out at night into a building where there are men? Well, this is simple, because she wants male attention and everything that comes with it, like free drinks, grinding on the dance floor, making out in the corner, and getting banged out in the bathroom. That's why. But because they know the guys who pound them in the nightclub bathrooms would never commit to girls who give it up that quickly and easily, they make sure they're never alone by shaming their boyfriends, who are sitting at home, into being okay with putting themselves directly in the crosshairs of players so they can have their cake and eat it too. Women act like we don't know that that's what goes on in clubs, and they act like we don't know why they want to be there. All men, red pill aware or otherwise, know that females lack impulse control. You mix that lack of impulse control with alcohol and late night sausage party, and cheating is inevitable. Women know this. They see it and they do it. But if a guy has a problem with her putting herself in a situation that almost always leads to infidelity, he's got a problem. Ladies, we don't mind if you hang out with your friends. In fact, we prefer it because we need our alone time to recharge our batteries. But what we won't condone is hanging out with friends and doing things that put your relationship at risk. You don't have to go to the bar or the club to hang out with your friends. There are plenty of other things that you can do. There are plenty of other places that you can go with your friends without exposing yourselves to bananas and cucumbers. So here's lesson number 2. If a woman you're seeing wants exclusivity with you, let her know that you do not date women who go to bars or clubs. And there's no need to be an asshole about it, guys. Just let her know matter-of-factly. The same way you tell her you don't eat bread with mold on it. So if you're out to dinner and she says, hey, you want to make this thing exclusive? Just shrug your shoulders and say, hey, you know what? The thoughts crossed my mind, but I don't date women who go to bars or clubs. Again, if she's not willing to give those things up, cool. Keep things as is and order another drink.
Wanting to go to the bar and get drinks. And if your boyfriend is kind of hesitant to letting you go out or not wanting you to go out or just completely not letting you go out or else they'll like threaten to break up with you, yeah, that's a definite red flag of a possessive, controlling boyfriend. I could not be with someone like that. Personally, I'm a very free spirit. I like to do what I want.
Ah, she's a free spirit who likes to do what she wants when she wants. A free spirit means free agent in womanese. Whether a woman is in a relationship or not, she is always on the lookout for a better offer. She is always looking to upgrade. This is hypergamy. Just because she says she's committed to you doesn't mean she is committed to you. You don't take a woman off the market. She does. And I'll use a sports analogy here. Basketball and football coaches mainly, they're always free agents. It doesn't matter what team they're coaching or how long their contract is. They will jump ship if a better offer comes along or if they have buyer's remorse. Roy Williams was in the middle of a multi-year contract at the University of Kansas to coach college basketball, but he left in the middle of that contract to coach the University of North Carolina. Bobby Petrino was the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons and out of nowhere decided he wanted to go back to college football and literally vanished without a trace. Literally. He left a Dear John letter in the locker room telling everyone that he was off to coach the University of Arkansas. Billy Donovan signed a multi-year contract to coach the Orlando Magic after he won his second straight NCAA title at the University of Florida. Less than a week later, he pulled out of the deal and he stayed at Florida. Gentlemen, girls are exactly the same when it comes to men. They'll pull a Roy Williams and Monkey Branch when they found a better guy. They'll shoot you a breakup text Bobby Petrino style if they hook up with a guy, but don't have the guts to tell you face to face that they've moved on. They'll commit to you, then a week later decide they want to stay with their toxic and abusive ex-boyfriend they told you about, just like Billy Donovan did at the University of Florida. So lesson number 3. Any female who calls herself a free spirit is telling you that she does not value commitment. And a woman who does not value commitment isn't worth committing to. And it's as simple as that. She does what she wants, when she wants, because she's a free agent. Again, you cannot be in a committed relationship with a female who has this mentality.
I don't like people telling me what to do. So for a girl like me to let that down and to let a boy control what she does takes a lot of manipulation that you
there she goes again, characterizing a man who holds a woman accountable and requires her to behave in a way becoming of a female in a relationship as manipulation. Any female who thinks a man who vocalizes his requirements, his needs, and lets a woman knows where she stands as manipulative and controlling behavior is a woman who wants it both ways. Ladies, if you don't want a man who holds you to a higher standard, that's perfectly fine. All you got to do is leave. He's not going to hold a gun to your head. But don't then sit around and complain about him manipulating you if you don't leave. The reason women complain about the men they stay with is for two reasons. Number one, they don't want to be alone. And number two, they don't have any options better than you. OMG, Donovan, you're such a loser. If your girlfriend is staying with you because she doesn't have any other options, you're a loser. So let me get this straight. You don't have better options because you're not willing to take directions, but that makes me a loser? Somehow that's my fault? Make that make sense. I've actually heard this from people. And also, you notice that she keeps saying boys, right? She's already said that twice. She's going to continue to say this. Make no mistake, guys. This is on purpose. This is by design. She's using the word boys to be flat out disrespectful, which means she does not have respect for men, guys. A woman that does not have respect for men is a lost cause. I got that directly from Alan Roger Curry. If she doesn't respect men, she's a lost cause. She can laugh. This girl, she can laugh under her breath and she can be undercover smug about her use of the word boys. But all that says about her is that she keeps dating boys and not men. And this is why she keeps getting passed around. This is why she's bitter. I love this passive aggressive disrespect she's displaying. She's displaying. She appears to be cool and calm and collected and boys this and boys that. But you can tell by her micro expressions like the head twitching, getting close to the camera, tilting her head, and the condescension. All of that, those things are hiding the disrespectful brat she really is just below the surface. This chick's a brat, right? This chick is a brat, but it's clear that she has the mind of a 13-year-old. I do what I want when I want. I don't like to be told what to do. Both are phrases that only bratty teenage girls use. Now, there's a reason this girl in particular and women like her have the mind of a 13-year-old, and pay attention here, guys, because this is extremely important. It's going to explain an important element of female behavior. Women stop maturing mentally when they figure out that men want to have sex with them. They only start maturing again when the sexual attention from men starts to dwindle. Let me repeat that. When females figure out that men want to have sex with them, they mentally stop maturing. Okay? They don't start maturing again until the sexual attention from men starts to dwindle. Male sexual attention is the pinnacle of self-actualization for a female. Boyfriends don't happen without sexual attention. Marriage doesn't happen without sexual attention. Living a great life with a man doesn't happen without sexual attention. So when they realize that men want sex from them, subconsciously their feminine hard drive tells them, okay, we've made it, girl. Men want to have sex with us. We have now done enough to get male attention, which means resources, companionship, protection, and anything else we need. And it ceases any and all brain activity that promotes mental maturation. It stops any and all urgency that says, I need a man, so I need to learn how to cook and clean and be pleasant and be feminine. Guys, this is why hot girls are completely useless. This is why they can't cook or clean or do laundry or have domestic skills. Their hard drive has now been satisfied in the way of male sexual attention. So all the hard drive tells them to do is to maintain status quo, which means to simply exist. Yeah, their boobs get bigger and their bodies get more womanly. Their bodies mature, but mentally the maturation process has grinded to a halt. Some girls stop maturing at 16, some at 15, some at 14, and yeah, sometimes even 13, like this girl who likely lost her virginity at 13, which is why she's acting like a petulant 13-year-old girl. And they keep this teenage mentality, guys, all through their 20s and 30s. But after that male attention starts to dwindle and eventually disappears, this is when they start to mature again. This is why women in their 20s and 30s act like children. This is it. They have that teenager's mentality until men stop wanting to have sex with them. And when that happens, their brain wakes back up. Uh-oh, wait a minute. We need to learn to act like a lady. We need to learn how to cook. We need to learn how to clean and be pleasant so we can attract men like we used to back in our teens and 20s. They're forced to act like mature women who have some sense and some agency, but unfortunately by then, it's too late. They've already developed bad habits over a long period of time that can't be changed at that age. That 39-year-old former party girl, she's got the mind of a 22-year-old at that point, having only started maturing and growing up again a few years ago because men don't look at her like they used to. Again, this is why older women who were ever attractive are insufferable. They all think they're still in their 20s and they act like it.
Might not even realize is going on, but it is going on behind the scenes. And that's what's making you, choose a boy over your friend. So many girls, and this is why I don't really like being friends with girls.
Oh, and this is why I really don't like being friends with girls. Translation: I have a lot of guy friends. Women make excuses not to be friends with other women to give themselves permission to be friends with a bunch of dudes. And women love being friends with men because they're always the center of attention. They don't have to go. They don't have to look very far to get bananas and cucumbers thrown at them. I mean, it's a sweet deal when women have male friends. She'll have 3 guys in the friend zone who will take care of all of her non-sexual needs, like picking her up from parties she's too drunk at, helping her move, picking her up from work, giving her a ride, loaning her money. While the 4 other guys she's sleeping with take care of all of her sexual needs. Women literally have it both ways when they have a lot of guy friends and they absolutely indulge themselves.
So many girls, when they get in a relationship, they completely cut off all of their friends. They don't text you anymore. They don't hang out with you. Like, they literally, it's almost like they get put on house arrest with their boyfriends. Like, they can't.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. So, cut off all their friends. Like it's immediate. Actually, I jumped the gun. I'm going to let her go on for a little bit longer. Hold on.
Out with you, they can't do anything. I've noticed that a lot with friends in the past. Like, as soon as they start dating someone, it's like immediate. And some girls.
Okay, so cuts off all of her friends. It's like immediate, right? So here she is again, green with envy. Okay, she's experienced friends who's dropped off the face of the earth when they get boyfriends, and she only hates it because she's not in a relationship. Guys, women are never happy for each other unless they're happy too. If one of her friends has a boyfriend, she's not happy for her friend unless she has a boyfriend. If she doesn't have a boyfriend, she's envious, but she can't say that she's envious. She has to pretend to be upset that her friend stopped calling or texting. But deep down, she's really upset that her friend has something that she doesn't. Here's another thing. When a girl gets with a guy she knows doesn't tolerate nonsense, she'll cut her friends off in a New York minute and keep him away from her friends for 4 very good reasons. Number 1, she knows her single promiscuous friends are a bad influence on her. Number 2, she knows her boyfriend knows that her single promiscuous friends are a bad influence on her and will withdraw his attention and sometimes even his commitment if she spends too much time around them. Number 3, she knows that her friends know all of her dirty little secret and doesn't want to risk any of them spilling the beans on her wild college nights in the dorms of the football team. Number 4, she knows that her friends will try to sleep with him. And this chick is mad at her friends. She is mad at her friends, or she is mad that her friends didn't subject themselves to these risks, and she blames it on men by saying, oh, they're on house arrest. She can't go anywhere. They can't hang out. No, sweetheart. Like you just said, these girls, and listen to what she says here.
Enjoy that. Some girls want a boyfriend so they can do that.
See, she said some girls want a boyfriend so they can do that. Again, they choose this because they know that they're with a man of value. And because he's a man of value, they're not gonna let you and your banana gobbling friends mess it up.
And a guy comes along and it just gives them a reason to like be completely dedicated to them.
Look at that. Just gives them a reason to just be completely dedicated to them? Yeah, sweetie. That's how it works. A man who has himself together keeps her in line, makes her feel safe, makes her feel desired, and doesn't allow her to put what they have at risk are pretty damn good reasons to be dedicated to him. If you look at this girl's body language when she says this, I'm going to rewind this. Just watch how she does this. This is unbelievable. Watch this.
Some girls want a boyfriend so they can do that, and a guy comes along and it just gives them a reason to like be completely dedicated to them.
Look at how she just swoops across the screen, just completely dedicated to him. She's trying to dismiss the fact that he's a high value guy by saying, a guy just comes along and just gives her a reason to be dedicated to them. As though he somehow used manipulative tactics and voodoo to brainwash her into dedicating herself to him. This girl has positively zero respect for even high value men. She's one of those women who thinks that a man who has himself together and dominates life only got there because of male privilege. She's the kind of girl who has no respect for a man's discipline, work ethic, and drive. She thinks high-value men just magically appear because they were born with a Y chromosome. That's why when she says just gives her a reason to dedicate herself to him, just kind of swoops across the screen, because she cannot figure out why a girl would make a man a priority. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time for part 2.